Can you hear me now? This is always how it goes, y'all. It's a Friday. You made it. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Friday Live with Lauren show. I have a repeat guest today. You guys know I always have somebody amazing coming on. Today I had to have somebody who was so good she had to come back 2 times. Jessica Winder started the year with us. She was the very first show. And she graciously agreed to come back when I had a last minute cancellation for today's episode. So, one, let's give some props to Jessica for showing up. If you did not catch the first show, you are going to learn that she is a twin mom. She is a boss. She is an SVP. She literally can show people how to get it done. And I love her personality. When she showed up just a minute ago, I was like, okay, the energy is here. I am ready to rock it. So if you are there, one, now that you can hear me, I want to let you know that you can ask questions in the chat. Jessica and I will answer them. And please share the show. Let some other people know that we are live today. It is a Friday. And without further ado, let me get Jessica.
Hey.
Hey, how are you?
I am doing good. Happy Friday. It has been an eventful day for me, like just crazy meetings, all this stuff. And then right after this, I'm going to go to the doctor to see my twins. So let's do it.
So I'm gonna let you tell your story, but if you do not know, Jessica is a twin mom and she is having twins. How many weeks
Another
away?
set of twins. Yeah, my second set of twins. We don't know what they are, so we're just gonna wait it out. But I'm gonna be a double twin mom. The
That is
craziest thing you've ever heard.
that's the coolest thing I think I've ever heard. A double twin mom. Like, I want to know what the odds of that are. I feel like I have to look that up.
It's very slim, very slim.
Okay, well, while I let you do an intro, anybody who's watching, let us know where you're joining from. I'm from South Florida. It is Boca. It is sunny today. Thank goodness. It's like mid 70s and beautiful outside. I don't know. I'm loving it today. What's it like where you are?
Here it's in the 60s, so it's not bad at all. Like that's the one thing about the desert. I'm in Las Vegas, so the desert in December is nice.
Yes. Okay, so tell us where you're joining us from. I always like to see where the show reaches. Sometimes we get people from like 4 or 5 different countries showing up, which is always cool. Sometimes it's just different states, but please tell us where you're joining us from. Indulge me while Jessica indulges us. Jessica, tell us, who is Jessica D. Winder?
I love. So, first of all, shout out to the person in the chat that's from New Orleans. I got engaged in New Orleans, so New Orleans has a special place in my heart. Okay, we love the boot over here. But so who am I? I am an SVP of HR. I've been in HR for almost 15 years. I have a very strong burn it all down mentality. I believe traditional HR is broken and that we've done a lot of harm to people, and a lot of people don't trust HR. You know, we all see the HR is not your friend, and I'll be the first one to tell you I'm not your friend. I work for the same company you work for. So I pride myself on like being authentic and talking about what is it like to be a working mom? What is it like to be a leader? Even the post today I did was about how I've been fired before. So being authentic is definitely my brand of like, let's tell everybody what's really going on behind the curtain. And then I have my own career coaching business, Hidden Gems Career Coaching, where I started really to just help people understand what it is that's going on in the background, because a lot of people have this perception and they get told these things on Reddit or on TikTok, you know, beat the HES and do the da and all this advice from people who have actually never worked in HR, and I'm tired of it. And so that's kind of why I really started writing content, because I was like, people are lying to you and you don't even know it. And then I have a book called The Hidden Gem Within. That's a career coaching book, kind of designed for people that can't afford a career coach, like a one-on-one coach, but want to better themselves in whatever way that they can, whether that's stay at their job or get a new job.
I love it, y'all. Check out Jessica. If you're not already following her, go follow Jessica and get the book. She was so gracious earlier in the year. She gave away a copy. Jessica, I would love to buy a copy and give a copy away.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
That. So I would love, love, love that. Let's say hey to everybody in the comments. We got Michelle Craig. Y'all know Michelle does High Five Friday at the halfway point. She'll show up to give some people some high fives. Tom from Boston's here. We got Dean with the potato emoji. What's up? My parents are in the house. I love that my mom joined LinkedIn to watch the show. Yep, New Orleans. So you and Dean are friends. Pennsylvania covered in snow. Yeah, Jody, I could never. I like it's
Mm-mm.
pretty in a picture, and that's about it. Canada in the house. Okay, so we're in 2 countries. Nashville 20s. No, Chris. My parents just came back from Tennessee. They had snow their last day there. Another Canada, whoop whoop. And yes, Tom Slocum in the house. It has been a minute. Okay. Thank you for tuning in. Oh, one more. We got Chicago. I
Hot
love
town.
Chicago. All right. We got so many great topics. We're going to do some giveaways. We got lots of stuff going on. I'm going to get the first topic going so we can get actually learning and leveling up. Don't forget, we're going to laugh a little bit. You know, me and Jessica are going to laugh. You're going to laugh. But in a few minutes, I'll tell you about the giveaways. The very first topic we're going to go over today is growing a people first culture. And I think that Jessica's a perfect person to talk about this. 2 weeks ago, I had someone on the show. We talked a lot about culture, and he'd been with the same company for 35 years. So
Wow.
he had a long time to really build that and grow that and entail that in his team, right? Instill that in his team, excuse me. But what I want to talk about is if you're going into a new role and maybe they don't have a people first culture, and you want to grow that and you're walking into that, what are some tips? What do you say to people who maybe find themselves in a situation that they thought was people first and it's not? How can they implement change?
Yeah, the bait and switch is real out here, okay, people? So keep that in mind, okay? Like when you're interviewing, what you're being told and what you might end up getting is 2 different things. And that's one of the things I always ask people when they join a company that I'm with, like the 30, 60, 90-day mark, is do you feel like what you were told in the interview is the truth? Because if not, I want to know like what we didn't tell you. Like, should we have told you something different about your leader? Should we have told you something different about the culture here? Because the bait and switch is heartbreaking when you think you signed up for something and then you get there and it's not what you expected. And that's why most people leave in that first, 6 months if it's not what they expected. But if you walk into something and it's not, you don't feel like it's people first, my first thing is you need to get aligned with your leader, because we all know that your leader has more of an impact on you than anything else. So is your leader people first? And if not, how can you partner with them to make sure that you're getting what you need? So is it you being honest and transparent about how you want feedback, being honest and transparent about like how you want to contribute? Those things are really important. So start with the leader, because you can, we can't boil the ocean, whatever you say, you know what I mean? Like you can't change the whole company as a new employee. Like, do not take that on. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's not gonna happen. Like you need to start small, start with your own leader, then start with your own team. Is it something that's in the team dynamics? You have, happen to have a mean girl on the team or somebody that's like a workplace bully. Like start there in like those dynamics before you start with, this is what the company could do. But don't sleep on giving feedback in the employee engagement survey, in the like right now we're about to do our employee NPS score. Like give your feedback if you don't feel like it's people first, but start small. Do not try to go in and be like, well, these are all the things that are wrong with this culture. And that's not going to go over well. It's just not. So you got to start small.
Yeah, you got to chip away at it slowly, or else you'll just have an avalanche of bad things falling on you if you go too hard, too fast.
Yes.
Especially as a new person. Okay, I want to talk about one thing that you just brought up. You brought up surveys, right? Employee engagement surveys. And one thing that I heard early in my career that I know is a myth, but I'd like you to talk about it, is that I was told when I was on a team, when I was early in my hourly career, that, oh, you shouldn't fill that out because they can actually figure out who you are. And then you can be targeted. I know now that's really nuts what's happening. But for the people who worry about that, what do you have to say to that?
I have absolutely been in situations where leaders try to figure out who said what. And it's so disheartening, I would say, from an HR standpoint. And this is why I actually am against giving the leaders the actual feedback. So for me, when I send out surveys, only me and my HR business partner are the 2 people that can actually see what you wrote. And then we put them into themes. So the leadership team only gets, these are the themes of things that were happening. So they don't get the actual comments that people make for that exact reasons, because I have been in places where the leadership team got comments and the cadence of how you talk, or you only have two people on the team, so like it's one of you two, you know what I mean? Like those things actually did happen, and it's so disheartening, and that's not the way that it is supposed to be done. And so I think it's really important to ask your team who is getting this feedback, like who can view the raw data, and then who is getting themes. Because if they tell you that like the leadership team is seeing raw data, then I would be very skeptical, be very, very mindful.
Yeah. I think you have to be mindful. And like you said, HR works for the company that you work
Yes.
for. Everybody thinks HR is for me. No, babe, they work for
No.
the company and they have the
Yeah.
company's best interests at heart always.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's literally your job.
Yes. Yes. And so I always feel like it's like I always want people to feel like they can come to me and like we can have conversations and you can vent to me, but at the same time, we work for the same company, and I don't understand the confusion around that. Like
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, sometimes people they want an ear,
yeah.
right? And they lean on the wrong person
Yeah.
and they think that because you work in HR, because you work for the same company, that the result will be different. But at the
Mhm.
end of the day, and I think of this similar to how I look at candidates who are
Yeah.
posting on LinkedIn, right? The more negative you are consistently,
Mhm.
that gives off negative vibes to other people
Yeah,
too.
for
So if
sure.
you're consistently complaining to me and complaining all the time about this is wrong and that is wrong and this and I don't like this, well, what do you like about
Yeah.
working here?
Yeah.
Right?
And I've had that conversation with somebody before. Like, why are you here? Why are you still here? How can I help you find another job? I will write your resume.
For free. Okay. Speaking of writing a resume, Jessica's not going to write your resume, but I will get you a copy of her book. If you comment hashtag hidden gem, I will get one of you a copy of her book. We will do a giveaway for that. And then you can also comment hashtag Sendoso. You guys know Sendoso is a sponsor of the show, longtime sponsor. And today we are giving away a Fatty Sundays Happy Holiday box. It's got to be shipped to somebody in the United States. But y'all, it's yummy and it's something I can't eat right now because I'm dieting. So I'm gonna give you guys all the food, all the food. Okay, not really dieting, but eating healthier. I want to like say that better because I think the diet culture sucks that I grew up with. I'm trying to be healthier, y'all, not eat so much candy and chocolate. But y'all can have all the candy and chocolate.
Meanwhile, I'm still eating holiday candy, girl. Okay.
Oh,
I'm
I love
still
that.
eating the Halloween candy over here.
I have some Halloween candy in my pantry, and I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I walk by it and I'll like grab a Kit Kat or I'll grab
Yeah.
a Snickers. And I looked at it yesterday and I was like, you gotta walk that out to the trash and dump the whole thing. And I haven't done it yet, but it's coming. I think tonight I'll have the courage to go dump the whole thing. And I know I could probably give it away, but then I feel bad about who I'm giving it to because I'm
Yeah.
making that all the candy. All right, before we move on to topic number 2, when you're growing a people first culture, if you're at a company that has a great culture, right, and
Mhm.
you want to help other leaders who are growing at your company continue to instill that with their teams,
Mhm.
right? Leaders hire new teams all the time. They bring on people to the company. You want to be a great representation of the company. How do you help leaders who are growing a team continue to keep the culture where it needs to be?
Mhm. So I'm experiencing this right now. I work for an early stage company. We have around 120 employees. Over the last year, we've hired 40 of them. So most of the team is new, and we are distributed. Like we have an office in Canada, but most people, myself included, I'm in Las Vegas, so I'm fully remote. And so one of the things that we've done is career pathing is so important to people, and that onboarding period is too. So we just remapped the whole onboarding period. I'm like, what does it mean to be here for 30 days? What are the expectations? 60 days, 90 days, and then you go into career pathing of like, what do you want to do in the future? So it is written out, and I mean in strong detail, what you need to do in the first 30, 60, 90 days to be successful here. Because a lot of times you start a job and it's kind of like, oh, we talked to you about what you were supposed to do in the interview, figure it out. I've joined places where I started, I didn't even have a laptop. I had nothing. They forgot I was even showing up that day. And so it's like, how do you welcome somebody to where they actually feel like they can make an impact, because there's nothing worse than like starting a job and you're bored. Nobody knew you were coming. You have nothing to do. And so you're just sitting there, and then you're waiting because nobody has the time to train you. So if training is not a part of the leadership strategy, I think you're failing when it comes to talking about people first.
Love it. Okay, last question before we move on. If you are walking into a company and what you're talking about right now is happening, right?
Mhm.
You walk in the door, maybe they didn't remember you were coming, maybe you
Mhm.
show up for the Zoom and nobody joins and you had to call HR and say what's happening, right? Like they don't know, training's not on par. What do you say as a new employee? What's the right way to ask for what
Mhm.
you need?
Yeah. I think if I was in that situation, when I was in that situation, I made my own plan. I literally sat down and was like, okay, in the first 30 days, this is what I need to do. I need to understand the product. I need to understand the culture. I want to meet all these people that are going to be on my leadership team. I want to meet the people at the time, like who my hiring managers were. And so I made a plan and then took it to my manager. So basically owned it myself. Like, here is my plan. Does this align with your expectations? And it sucks that you would have to do that. Like, that should be given to you. But if it's not given to you, you're going to have to own it.
Love it. Perfect. Okay. I think that we covered this. I think we got some really good answers, like tangible things you guys can take away. That if you're experiencing these things, you can actually take the things Jessica said, put them into motion, and see what happens. And the other thing I will say to you is that, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, but as a recruiter, you should always be taking calls. You should always be looking at the job
Absolutely.
market. You should always know what's out there. If you're not doing these things, you also don't know when pay increases happen,
Hmm.
when the market changes. You don't always know if you don't keep your finger on the market. As a recruiter, I know a lot of these things because I talk to a lot of people and I
Hmm.
deal with a lot of different industries and jobs. But if you're not having conversations, you're missing out on
Hmm.
even just knowing what the status quo is. So have conversations, even if you're not really, and be open with people. If somebody says, "Hey, Lauren, I'm not really looking for a new job right now, but I'd be open to hearing whatever you have to say," cool. I'm not going to try to sell you so hard that I'm going to convince you to jump ship tomorrow,
Yeah.
but I'm going to explain to you what's out there. Okay,
Yeah.
we're going to move on. Topic number 2. This is a big one. I'm excited for this one. We're going to talk about hiring in 2025.
Ooh.
I want to talk about a number of things on this topic. I want
Yeah.
to talk about the trends we think are coming. We're going to do a little prediction. What do we think is happening, right?
Hmm.
I know a lot of my clients are gearing up to start hiring in January. They've
Hmm.
been preparing for that. They've done some final rounds of layoffs, and y'all, people do layoffs and then
Yeah.
hire people. It
Yep.
happens.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But they've done some layoffs. They're getting ready to hire. So I predict hiring is going to get better
Hmm.
probably end of January is what I'm thinking personally. But I also want to talk about just like the state of interviewing and hiring in general right now. So Jessica, let's talk about hiring next year. What do you predict is going to happen in 2025?
So I definitely think it depends on the industry. I was just reading an article of like the automotive industry where Nissan is talking about they only have enough runway for this amount. Like, I think it's like 12 months, and then they're going to lay off or like shut down. And I think reading that was scary. They're a huge employer, obviously a huge automotive staple. So I definitely think some industries, especially with the state of the world and like the looming tariffs that might come, they will impact employment in some industries. Now, my area of expertise, and like I've worked in HR and tech, that doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, the automotive industry and tech are two very different things. So I do think the tech side of it is coming back. Like, the pendulum is swinging back to a lot more hiring. My current company, like, we are on a sprint to hire salespeople. So shout out if you know any great salespeople, let me know. But you know what I mean? Like, we are gearing up for 2025, and like we're hitting the ground running, but we're a tech software company. So I do think depending on the industry, but some industries, I definitely think brace yourself.
Yeah, I think the industry does really matter. I think that most of the people obviously watching on LinkedIn are probably going to be somewhat in the tech industry or sales or something like that. I do feel like we're seeing more hospitality jobs come
Yeah.
back. I work in healthcare recruiting now. I have a lot more healthcare clients who are really gearing up. And then the other thing that I always like to talk about, because I don't think enough people ever talk about this, is the fact that over the holidays, when people go home and we really spend time with our families, 40% of people consider resigning from their job over the holidays. And half of those people go through with it when they get back to the office. So in addition to all of the jobs that I think are coming anyway, and Jessica's talking about, there's going to be a number of jobs that companies weren't really prepared to be sourcing for or hiring for. And while I know people are more comfortable than ever in their jobs, even if they're not comfortable, they don't want to move. I think you're going to see a little bit more shifting. I think people are willing to take a risk and people are finding other ways to make money. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. And I think I've done this before. I left a job, literally put in my notice January 3rd because I had to be there in January to get my bonus. So a lot of people like stay to the end of the year, get their bonus and peace out. That's exactly what I did. So yes, people, there will be jobs that are open. And then to your point about, people during the holiday season, one of the things that I've done when we're recruiting is like we sent out a bunch of messages. Mind you, I work for a Canadian company. So half of the employees were working on Thanksgiving. I literally told my recruitment team in Canada, start sending out all the messages you can to Americans on Thanksgiving. They're with their family, they're on their phone, and this is the perfect time to get them to respond to you. So yes, the holiday season is when recruiters are like, let's go.
100%. I had my phone in my hand all of Thanksgiving. My phone's always also dead. Everybody's like, why is your phone always dead? I'm like, because I'm on it all the time, messaging and commenting and dealing with all of that. All right. Another topic I want to talk about. I posted the other day about scheduling interviews and some people not showing up for interviews. And y'all, the other thing I want to say really quickly is if you ever go viral on LinkedIn, just brace yourself because people are mean.
Oh yeah, they come for you, honey.
I'm pretty used to it, but man, I think this post got the most comments of any of my posts ever. And yeah, most people I think are pretty sane. Some of you, I think you put your foot in your own mouth and I didn't even have to respond because you opened up your mouth and proved it for me by posting it publicly on LinkedIn. But the excuses that people are giving are the reasons that people would find it totally acceptable to not show up for a scheduled interview are really just mind-boggling to me. Of where we're at. And the one comment I want your opinion on was if I had 4 scheduled interviews and one person showed up, the argument was that I should hire the one person because them showing up proved they deserve the job. What do you think
That's
about
the bar now? That's all we got now is just show up? No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
I could not believe it, Jessica. I could not believe it. I had to hire the one person who showed up, who was definitely not qualified for the role. In the right sense. I think I could put them in a different role, but not for the role they showed up for. But it was, and those were some of the responses. One person said, well, did you use Teams? So apparently if you use Teams, it's okay to not go to the interview. Like I was very shocked. Jessica, oh, you want to laugh really hard. Somebody said, if I schedule a call with someone, they'll probably miss it. If someone schedules a call with me, I'll probably miss it. It's 2024. No one has time for scheduled calls.
Okay, so you supposed to like do a whistle, a bird call? Like what you supposed to do? Like, no, ma'am.
You can show up for your schedule at work, or do we not have time for that either? You just want the paycheck.
Yeah, like we don't have time for that. That's like saying if you got Verizon, I can't call you. What? AT&T only? Like, make it make sense.
If you want a good laugh, go back and read through that.
I actually am going to. I'm going to go read them.
Man, I'm to the point where I'm not even responding anymore. I don't care.
Yeah.
But oh my goodness, some of the reasons that people think it's just and then other people who's told me that because I was a recruiter and a lot of recruiters ghost people, I deserved it. So I should get in line.
No. I mean, it's just unacceptable etiquette. And just to say like, oh, the one person who showed up should get the job. No, I don't, with my kids, we don't believe in participation trophies over here. Okay, either you earned it or you did not. And then to say, because recruiters ghost people, but you didn't ghost them. Like it's like you don't speak for all recruiters, just like I don't speak for all Black people. Like, what are we talking about?
It's crazy to me how much like you say sometimes HR gets like the bad rep, right? Recruiters get a bad rep, y'all.
Oh, absolutely.
We're people too.
Yeah. Like somebody, and I get it. I think when you're in that state of like hustle to find a job and you feel like you've been wronged, you get upset with anybody that has that title. And so I get it, but it's definitely misplaced anger. It's misplaced anger, period.
And realistically, the recruiters who are posting these things are the ones who actually want to help you.
Yeah.
We're the ones who are on the good side. And am I a perfect person? No. Have I probably ghosted somebody in the past? Yes, I am not perfect. But the number of people who show up and they're like, have you ever been a recruiter before? You should do.
Yeah.
Y'all. Oh my God. Unsolicited advice on LinkedIn.
Take a seat. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay. So in hiring 2025, your company's hiring, and I don't normally plug this, but please let everybody know quickly where they can reach out to you if they want to reach out about a job. I know you said sales jobs mainly.
Yeah, so it's mainly on our rep team. So we have some SDR roles, some like strategic account executive roles. So all the things, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, or I work for CoLab. So you can go to the careers page at CoLab. But yes, we are in full hiring mode for revenue jobs.
And they are remote?
Yep. So they are based in Canada, but you can be anywhere in Canada or the US.
There you go, people. Okay. And if you tell Jessica that you found her here, I'm sure she'll move you to at least a phone call and say
at least
up to
minimum.
You, okay, minimum. You're gonna get a what's up from Jessica because you saw it on the show. But if you don't have the background, come on, people, make sure you got the background to apply. Read the job description. That's the last thing I'll say as a recruiter hiring in 2025. If you're not willing to read the entire job description, don't apply for the role.
Yeah, and show up, please.
For the scheduled interview. All right, we are gonna do High Five Friday. Jessica, I'm gonna set you off stage for 1 second while we get Michelle out here, and we got a couple high fives for today. I'm super excited. We're gonna celebrate some people. See you in just a second. All right, Michelle is coming out. I'm getting out of the way. If you need me, I'll be back after this little break.
Hey y'all, as always, super excited that it is Friday. We've actually found some cold weather in Austin, which is crazy because it's like December. Quick announcement before I jump into the high fives. Next week, I am rolling out content all week that is all about job seekers, layoffs, preparing for it, going through it, resources, tools, who to follow. It's going to be a ton of awesome stuff next week. So if you're not following me and you're interested in seeing what's out there or just want to support those resources, give me a connect, give me a follow. But aside from that, if it's your first time here, High Five Friday is where the fans, the followers, connections submit high fives for the people in their network that are really showing up for them or inspiring them. It is also an opportunity to share a win, which I'm super excited about because we are kicking off with a personal win this week. So Heidi submitted a high five for the release of her new children's book, I Have a Voice, a Book of Listening. This book teaches children ages 4 to 9 how to identify, listen, and honor their inner voice. It empowers children to use their voice for good in the world. This has been a dream 30 years in the making, and it proves you are never too old and it is never too late to follow your dreams. Congrats, Heidi, that's incredible. Next up, we have Anthony for Shaquille. I am celebrating Shaquille and the way he builds community on LinkedIn. It inspired my use of LinkedIn and how the platform can be so much more than simply jobs and connections. I love his content as it's authentic and funny, and you can tell he really puts in the work to sustain community. Last but not least, we have Allegra for Elizabeth. Elizabeth is an amazing author, voice for justice, and supporter of women on and off LinkedIn. Her content is refreshing and authentic, and she's a huge advocate for others, and her work does not go unnoticed. So high five to all of y'all who submitted. If you received a high five this week, let's see you submitting and celebrating someone in your network next week.
Thanks, Michelle.
Thanks, Lauren. See you later.
Bye. All right, y'all. We are halfway through. The show goes by so quickly. I'm going to get Jessica back. We got 2 more hot topics that I'm stoked about. Don't forget, you can win some stuff today. Comment hashtag Sendoso. Comment hashtag Hidden Gem. You have to be in the United States to win, or ship it to somebody in the United States. If you're not, you can win from anybody, but it's got to go to somebody in the United States, and then you're in to win Jessica's book or the Fatty Sundays Happy Holiday Box. Okay, now we have 2 more topics. The next 2 topics, I know you were excited for this one. We're getting into boundaries at work. Y'all, some of y'all don't have these.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh. What are y'all doing?
You need to get you some, honey. Get you some boundaries.
I'm even going to ask you a question. I'm going to let you take it away.
No, I think, you know what? When I look at the beginning of my career, I had no boundaries. I started my HR career in oil and gas. And the expectation, I was a recruiter. The expectation was that I was working around the clock. I was sending out messages. I was going out to networking events. Like, there were no boundaries. My boss literally called me whenever he wanted to. I just literally didn't know how to say no. Nobody had taught me that in my career. Now I'm in a very different place. Now, mind you, I realize now I'm also in a senior leadership role, but I have clear boundaries and expectations for what I will accept and for what my team will accept. So, for example, the whole being able to get in touch with me 24/7. And it really depends now, because I'm a mom. So I'm like, listen, between the hours of 5 and 7:30 and when they go to bed, the building better be on fire. Okay. Something better be really, really wrong for you to try to get me on the phone, because that is my time with my girls. So that's a boundary that I set from the very beginning. From the day that I start, that time is blocked on my calendar of, this is my time with my daughters. That's it. And so even saying that out loud to people, I've had people be like, oh my God, you said that to somebody? You said that to your CEO? And I'm like, yeah, call me at 7:30. Like, what is so important? If it's that important. So I think, what are your expectations from your leaders? And somebody in the comments said something about managing up. Like, how are you managing up so your leaders know when you are available? Kind of, how would you prefer to be talked to? For me, please send me a text before you call me, because I'm a millennial. So I'm instantly on alert. Like, what do you want? Like, why are you calling me? Instead, just text me and let me know what you want first. So even the boundaries also with your teammates of their expectations of you. Like, is it okay that they send you a message at 5 o'clock on a Friday and ask you for help? Probably not. Can we wait on Monday? We're in the let's circle back season right now. So let's circle back in January. But no, in all honesty, I think being honest and transparent about your boundaries will set you up to win, and also will set your team up to know what to do when they reach out to you. But you have to have boundaries, because if not, people treat you how you allow them to treat you.
All day. And sometimes I think that we don't feel comfortable setting the boundary. And it's also what we see from the leaders around us. So having leaders who have boundaries and impose them, actually, I think really, really helps let other employees know that it's okay to say, this is my time. For me, if my phone's on do not disturb, you better not click notify anyone. if that thing starts dinging while we're live right now, we're going to have a big problem.
Yeah.
Because that was on do not disturb for a reason. Why are you calling me? There should be no reason you have to call me. If something happens with my son, they can call his dad right now. Everything is taken care of. My phone should not ring for an hour. So just like you said, we have to have boundaries. I work for myself. That's my own boundary, y'all. And that's okay. It's okay to do that. The other thing I want to talk about, and I think Jessica can speak to this too, is that it's okay to have boundaries with how much personal information you share at work. And I think that right now, especially because we are in like this Zoom, we're all virtual, people want to feel connected. So they're asking questions and they're asking about, oh, what's that picture in the background? Or, oh, what'd you do over the weekend? And we're trying to be polite and cordial, but sometimes people ask too much or people pry or people ask questions that are inappropriate. I want to talk about how we deal with that. How do we answer those questions? How do we put up boundaries when we are in an uncomfortable situation? What's your advice?
Yeah, so I want to touch on one thing you just said. I think leaders set the groundwork for boundaries, and this normally shows up in PTO. If leaders are taking or not taking their PTO, it shows you, do they have boundaries? If while they're on PTO, they're working the whole time, it shows you they don't have boundaries. So then you expect that when you go on PTO, you're going to have to work too. Or if when they're on PTO, they set clear boundaries, they're not responding, then you have that same expectation that when you take time off, you'll be able to do the same thing. So I definitely think the PTO thing gives you a great insight into a lack of boundaries or a respect for boundaries in the workplace. And then when it comes to like everything else, I really do think you got to be true to like, how can you stay healthy? We all know that it is easier to prevent burnout than it is to get out of burnout. And so preventing it is such a big part of like, how does this work for you? And how do you make sure that your leaders know that? And I do just want to say, when you are more junior in your career, this is scary. I would have been scared to tell my leader at the time. I was probably 22. Like I would have been scared to tell him, can you not call me after 9 o'clock? I would have. I don't think I would have done it. Now I'm in a different spot. But I just want to acknowledge that because I think a lot of times people feel like, oh, you should just tell them. That's hard sometimes. So maybe you need to practice. Maybe you need to send it over a Slack. Maybe, maybe it's an email. Like, just think through that.
Yeah. You can have ChatGPT help you write it, but personally before you send it. No, y'all, you just have to enforce your own boundaries and you have to be willing to have the uncomfortable conversations. I think that's the other part of it. Sometimes we're so uncomfortable, but y'all, you're already uncomfortable. You're already uncomfortable. So have one more conversation and get out of being uncomfortable all the time. You don't have to live in that area of this sucks right now.
Yeah.
It's totally okay to have boundaries. And the other thing that you spoke about, you made a post about talking about pregnancy at work and somebody asking somebody if they were pregnant and when is this appropriate and all of these things. And as somebody who had a really hard pregnancy, it wasn't something I wanted to talk about. It wasn't something that I was comfortable with. When people asked me about it, I wasn't having a good doctor's appointment. It wasn't something that I was joying come touch my belly. It was awful for me. So I want to talk about that too, because I think now people are experiencing this still. It's different because we're more virtual, but people are still experiencing this. I want to say I'm shocked, but I'm not.
Yeah. Listen, there was a comedian that says, unless a woman is crowning, don't ask her if she's pregnant. Don't. Okay. Just don't. I don't care how big her stomach is. My stomach, if I stood up right now, is huge. Okay. Don't ask me nothing. Unless I tell you I'm having twins or my babies or da. Just don't ask. Like, it's not your business. And what the post I made was specifically around like people asking this in interviews, because I've seen people, like I have been in a situation where I was interviewing someone and then we did a debrief and somebody said like, did she look pregnant to you? And I instantly was like, oh no. We're not going there. This has nothing to do with what we just talked about with her. Doesn't matter if she looks pregnant, if she doesn't, like, absolutely not. So I think unless somebody tells you something, you don't do that. And to your point, not every pregnancy is happy and joyous. Like, that's not everybody's story. So yeah, like some people don't want to talk about it, and that's okay.
No, some people don't want to talk about it. And it is rude to ask, even if you think it's obvious.
Yeah.
It is rude. I know that people think that it's just an okay thing. It's really not.
No.
And I think
definitely don't touch anybody. Okay. I've had that situation before where I had to slap a few hands. Do not put your hands on people.
Not. I don't want to be touched, period. Yeah. But if you came at my stomach, I would really not like that. Absolutely not. I was also sick my whole pregnancy. So if you were getting around in front of me, you were probably in the danger zone. You didn't want to be in front of me. Good luck to you.
Yeah.
No, I will say, at least now being virtual, right? Things are a little bit different. Maybe people aren't experiencing it so much, but I do think that, like you said, when you get off camera, people have conversations and people gossip, and it's just inappropriate, especially when you're talking about somebody's personal family life. We don't do it to you. We don't assume what's going on in your family. Stop assuming what's going on in ours. Okay. Anything else for boundaries?
The other thing I would say is around, like, you know, people's backgrounds. Be mindful of what you're saying to people. I was once in a meeting where somebody noticed that somebody was at a different background, not realizing that that person was at a shelter. And it was really embarrassing for her. But this person, like, in the middle of the meeting was like, "You're not in your living room. You're normally in your living room. Where are you?" And so I just say that to say, be mindful of what you're saying to people. And on the other side, use backgrounds. Like, there's no shame in it. Like, use a background. That way nobody knows where you are. And like, you can keep your privacy and you can be wherever you want to be.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Don't question where people are at. And the other thing, like, I'll have people jump on an interview with me and they're in their car on their phone. Like, if you had to pop out of work or if whatever, if this was the only moment you could get on this call, I do not care. You showed up for the call. Like, we were talking about that earlier.
You showed up.
You might get it in your car. No, but like, things happen, and I've had moments where it was like I could either take this call from the side of the road right now on my hotspot and figure it out, or I have to reschedule and then bump 3 other things. And it's not always convenient to do that either. So don't question people. If they're showing up, they're showing up. And have the conversation with them where they're at. That doesn't matter. Like Jessica said, a lot of it doesn't matter, and it's not your business. Number one thing I'm working with my kid, he's 7, is worry about yourself. He asks all the time, "Mommy, what's going on with this? What's this week?" And I mean, they ask a lot of questions at 7 anyway, right? But all the time, like, worry about yourself. Who are you worried about right now? Who are you looking at? Because we're people watchers. Like, it runs in the family. He's going to be a people watcher. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Axel. But yeah, all the time. I'm like, bro, you're not even looking where you're walking. You're about to walk into the pool. Worry about yourself. What you doing? Oh, man. It's fun when they get this age. I will say. So fun. Okay. We got one more topic. We got the giveaways. If you came late, I don't have them both pumping, but you can comment #HiddenGem. You can comment #Sendoso. Those are the things to win. And the last topic I think is the most important topic is the art of disconnecting. Y'all, some of y'all never disconnect. And like, I'm a business owner and I have to live in my business, and being a business owner, the only thing I really focus on are the problems, because I got to fix the problems. The good stuff is good and it's working, but I got to go fix all the problems all the time. So you got to disconnect or you're going to burn out. I want to talk about the art of disconnecting, because it really is something that you have to grow comfortable at. I think it's like a muscle. You have to get comfortable at disconnecting from work, because we've been in this culture for so long. Like you said, you could call me after 9. I'm not going to tell you not to. How do people get comfortable disconnecting, and when is the appropriate time to disconnect?
I will say I am the queen of disconnecting, honey. One thing that I know how to do is shut some stuff off. Okay. So I tell my team when they go out on PTO. So someone on my team right now, she's headed to New York. I was like, delete all the apps, delete all the work apps, delete the email, delete the Slack, delete it all off of your phone. And because you're going on PTO, you don't need to see that. Like, this is all going to be here when you get back. And so I think even having that as a step, that when you go out or like maybe on weekends, whatever you need to disconnect, like, take the apps off of your phone. We know it takes 2 seconds to re-download them. So why not have a sense of peace for a weekend or for your vacation? I think start there. And then I do think being able to shut it down. I personally, if it's on my phone, I'm going to look at it. So I have to take it off my phone, but that's just a personal thing to me. Some people can just cut the notifications off. I can't do that. If it's on there, I'm clicking. So, you know, it depends on your level of tolerance. So some people, I think disconnecting is really being able to discern when you're going to look at certain things. And for other people like me, you have to take it off your phone.
Yeah. You have to physically remove it.
Yeah.
It's not the exact same, but I got, very randomly, we don't have to go there right now, but I got a lifetime ban from Facebook. So I'm not on Facebook anymore. Not my fault. Somebody hacked my account, whatever. Anyway, long story short, I still have the app on my phone and I still find myself 8 months later trying to open the app that I haven't been in 8 months because it's on my phone out of habit. I haven't deleted it. Delete the app, people. Delete it. How many people, comment if you're watching, how quickly in the morning do you look at your phone when you wake up? Okay. How quickly do you look at your phone? And then how quickly do you check your emails? What's
mine? I can tell you right now, the first thing I do in the morning, I go look at the nanny cam and see if my daughters are awake. And then I go straight to LinkedIn. Like, no joke. I'm still in bed.
Yep. Y'all, it's bad.
Yeah.
The first thing I'm doing is looking at what emails came in overnight. Is there a fire? I'm not out of bed yet. I've turned off my alarm. I haven't even gone to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I am looking at emails. You have, and I know this sounds crazy, but you can delete your mail app off your phone too. Your email can go. You can do it. I got rid of Slack a long time ago.
Oh, yeah, I don't have Slack on my phone. It caused me a lot of anxiety.
No, I didn't just get rid of it on my phone. I was like, yo, I'm out. I don't want to be on Slack anymore.
Yeah.
I don't really care about any of these groups enough to stay. I was back in one for a few months for like this career coaching thing. And I was like, you know what? I don't like Slack. It's not for me. It's not my thing. So I'm very disconnected. I'm getting good at disconnecting. I'm not on Slack at all. And I'm not going back. But it's important to remove things. And then it's also important, I think, to have a plan in place so that you can be comfortable. And I want to talk about that. So if somebody wants to disconnect, they want to go on PTO and they're trying to put a plan in place, what do they need to cover? Who do they need to talk to? And what's the best way for them to really feel prepared so that they can disconnect?
I think your leader and your team, like letting them know, I will actually not be available, and saying those words, I will not be available. Because sometimes people think like, oh, I'm gonna shoot you a text and like, can I get 5 minutes? I will say, you will not be able to reach me. There will be no response. I have even gone as far, and this was at a previous job and it was toxic, but I actually blocked them when I went on vacation to make sure that they would not reach out to me, because I knew that they were going to. And this happened to be like a very important family vacation for me. And so I was just really caught up, and it was like a family member's wedding and like I was helping. And so I was like, no. So not only did I like delete all the apps, I blocked all of them so they could not reach out to me. Now that's a little extreme, but it did work. Want y'all to know that it did work. So if take that with a grain of salt. But I also think just telling them I will not be available.
Right.
But a lot of times we say, oh, you can still reach out to me. Like, it's cool. Just let me know. Cut it. Stop saying that.
Why are you giving yourself more work? You worked hard for that PTO. You worked hard for that PTO. Like Jessica said, you're hanging around till December for the bonus. You're running out that PTO. Don't take the call. I also used to pick my vacations based on if there was Wi-Fi, right? So that I could like bring my laptop to work if I had to. The other thing I do now, and I'm kind of crazy for this, but if I really want to disconnect, I will just not bring my laptop.
Oh yeah, same.
And I can do most things from my phone if I have to, right? Like there's a few things I probably can't do, but most of the stuff I could get done. I could probably get this whole live stream done on my phone if I had to. I will leave my computer behind.
Yeah.
Because when the computer comes out, the real work comes out. And now we're focused and we're locked in. So for me, a big part of that is leaving my computer behind.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't take my computer on vacations with me. We recently took my girls to Texas to visit my family. I did not take my laptop. Nope.
It's actually very freeing to be able to feel that sense of disconnect. And a lot of people will never feel that. And I just want to tell you, if I own my own business and I feel like I can disconnect that much, I don't care what your company pays you, you can disconnect to.
Yeah.
It's a paycheck.
You can figure it out. Start somewhere. Okay. Like, even if it's a day, like start somewhere.
Right. I want to talk about the other effect, right? If we don't disconnect and we hit burnout, you see this, I'm sure, a lot working in HR. What do you see happening to the people who don't disconnect? What does that burnout look like? And then what does that ultimately do for your career?
It actually looks like when people become disgruntled. Like most of the people that I know that are angry, pissed off at work, feel like nobody listens to them, nobody cares, it's because they haven't taken a day off in years. And I actually worked somewhere before where I knew somebody who was the most negative person I think I've ever met in my life. And he would also brag about how he hadn't taken a vacation in 5 years. Like he had not taken a day off in 5 years. And he thought that was the show of his loyalty to the company. And I remember thinking, how sad. Like, oh no. So I think it shows up in employees that are disgruntled and like, start to disengage because you haven't had any time off. You haven't had any rest. You haven't had any time with your family or your friends or to do anything that you really enjoy because you've given your all. And then you're mad when the company doesn't give you the same loyalty when they're all about the business. So it's, your values are misaligned.
Yeah. We all say that we don't want to be a family at work, right? People are like, I don't want a family.
Oh,
I have a family. We don't want a family. But then you want your company to treat you like a family.
yep. Yeah.
And that's the other end of this that I think a lot of people don't want to accept in that regard is that we don't want the family, but when we're not treated like family, we are offended.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, it is a job. And if you can be fulfilled in your job, more power to you.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I know people who do a job that they don't really love, but they make great
Mm-hmm.
money and they do it every day. And then they go home and they forget about it and they get back up and do it again the next day. And that
Mm-hmm.
works for them. You get to pick and choose and design your life.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to pick and choose and design to do something different, do it. If disconnecting is not in your path right now and it needs to be because you're burning out, you can figure it out. You have to make the choice though. Nobody's going to make it for you.
Yeah.
Nobody from HR is going to walk in and be like, hi, are you burnt out today?
Yeah, no, I can
How
tell
are
you right now. We got other stuff to do.
When's the last time somebody from HR walked in and they were like, hi, we have hot cocoa and we just want to make sure that you guys are working so hard and feeling good today.
Oh.
We love you. Could you imagine? I would literally just look at you and be like, goodbye.
Yeah, like if I did that, I would deserve an Academy Award. Okay.
No, y'all, we all got real jobs to do. We all got a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah.
And HR is a lot more than just making sure everybody's happy. There's so much in the role that Jessica does, which is the other thing. I think it's just so incredible. You're a twin mom, having twins, the work you do. I'm literally just so impressed by it all the time. And like you said, you show up on LinkedIn all the time. You're just crushing it. Everybody, make sure you go follow Jessica right now if you are not already. Please. And then the other thing I want to say before I forget, because I almost forgot, is that if you are not following the show page, the Friday Live with Lauren show, please go follow the show page because in 2025, we are moving the show from my personal page to the company page. And if you're not following, you won't get notifications. And it's going to be a little bit different. So please go follow the company page. LinkedIn finally made it where I can actually go live from there. I don't know if any of you ever do live events, but when LinkedIn lets you go live from a company page, you're like, yay, finally made it. What was I doing wrong so long? I don't know. All right, we got the giveaways. Let's do those really quick. Don't forget, it's last chance. Comment hashtag Sendoso to be entered to win the Fatty Sundays Happy Holiday Box. It's got to be shipped to somebody in the USA. I think I got a picture of it here. Let's see if we can show them what it looks like. Here we go. Happy holidays. These are like chocolate covered peppermint pretzel things.
Ooh,
I don't know,
that
y'all.
sounds
They look
good.
yummy. They look really good. And then Jessica, tell people about your Hidden Gems book. Journal.
Oh yeah. I'm like, hold on, I got a copy. Boom. Okay. So Hidden Gem, it's basically a career coaching journal to help you think through what you want to do in your career. So this is perfect timing for the new year. Do you want to stay in your job? Do you want to get promoted? Do you want to take a step back? Okay. I have some clients right now who have decided because of things going on in their life, they need to take a step back. That's okay too. So this one will guide you through that. And it also has some funny stories about my 15 years in HR. I have so many good stories to tell in my life experience being a woman of color in leadership roles. So it has all the things in there jam-packed. So check it out. It's on Amazon.
Yes, if you don't win it, get it on Amazon. Jessica, come back later and drop the link in the chat, please, so that people can find it. And just thank you for coming today. It was so much fun.
Of course. Anytime you need me, I'm here.
Don't tell me that. Okay, let's do the giveaways. We'll do the Sendoso one first. We had 7 entries. Who's it going to be? Who do you think it's going to be? Tom, Andrew, Dean.
Tom.
Andrew. Andrew won the journal the last
Yeah,
time.
I was gonna say he won the book last time. Yeah, he did. He did.
So Andrew, you won the Fatty Sundays, from Sindoso Pretzels. I know you're in Canada. I can either switch it out for something I can ship to you, or you can ship it to somebody in the USA. So you let me know what you want to do. And then let's do Jessica's book. Okay, we had 5 entries. Tom, Jody, Gregory. Who's it going to be? Michelle. I know all of these people would be super excited to get it. Tom Slocum. Tom in the house.
Get it,
Tom.
Tom.
Tom is growing his own company right now.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, Tom is incredible. He was on the show last year. I was trying to get him on this year, but it just did not happen. Maybe we'll get him on in 2025.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, we didn't go over this right before the show, but do you remember the very last thing we do on the show?
I do not, but I'm open to it, whatever it is.
I'm about to put Jessica on the spot. Okay, the very last thing we do on the show is a fun Friday fact. So
Ooh.
Jessica, give us, it could be about you. It could be about something you know random. You could sing, do an accent. I don't care. Give us a fun Friday fact.
Okay, fun Friday fact about my life is this set of twins that I'm pregnant with is going to be the 8th set of twins in my family. We have 8 set of twins between my husband and I's family. It is fully genetic, no medication, just we be popping out twins left and right. So there's your fun fact is I have the 7th set of twins in my family, and I'm about to have the 8th set of twins in my family.
Easy to me. That is so incredible. The history, the family tree you guys are building. I can't wait to see what Christmas looks like for you in 25 years.
It's bananas. It is absolutely bananas. And also another fun fact is none of the twins have twins. So out of all 8 set of twins, none of them have twins. It's everybody else that has twins.
So it's so interesting. We're gonna have to stay updated with Jessica's life forever. Jessica, this was so fun. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Y'all give Jessica some love. If you liked the show, please come back next week and go follow the Friday Live with Lauren show page on LinkedIn. Y'all are the best. Look, Micah says twins on twins on twins.
Honestly, stack on stack on stack.
Oh, look, Andrew said that we could give his pretzels to you.
Oh, I will take it. The pretzel loves food.
You want the pretzels. Yes. Thanks, Andrew. That's awesome.
That's so sweet.
Oh, this was fun. All right, guys. This was awesome. I had a great time. Jessica, I hope you have the best weekend ever.
Thank you.
Andrew says Merry Christmas. There we go. Perfect. Merry Christmas to those who celebrate whatever you guys are going to be celebrating this month. If you're celebrating at all, if you're not celebrating, I see you too, because you don't have to be festive. You can do whatever you want and be who you want to be, and you don't have to tell anybody at work about it. All right, y'all. That was the show. It was fun. If you didn't like it, don't come back. Bye.